Fucking dubstep. Gotta wait for the drop. What is up, everybody? What is up? Happy Tuesday night. I hope that you are having a good one. We are going to have a fun night tonight. We are joined by a Flak Magnet. Flak Magnet, how are you?
Yee-hoo-haw! Ping, 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 woo! Shots fired, brother. We are going on all cylinders. Well, I got
Guns
two cylinders in the shape of guns.
blazing.
Yeah, they're gonna be blazing right now. I'd say
Yes.
they're just steady at the moment.
Yes.
You know, just
And
precise. Boom.
we're not the only ones. We're not the only ones. In fact, I'm gonna read shortly here a one UAP Gerb, highly frustrated with a one Christopher Mellon. I always sound, it makes me feel like I sound professional when I say A1 instead of just the person's name, you know? When A1 Flak Magnet joins the space.
I feel more regal as you do that. But
Yeah.
isn't it odd? Isn't it odd
Classy.
that like these huge ufologists, right? Which I'm not taking anything away from Gerb. I think he knows a lot.
Sure.
But to then,
Well, I don't know him at all, but yeah.
well, I don't know him personally, but like I've listened to his stuff. I think he
Have
knows
you?
what he's talking about. Yeah, oh yeah. And
Am I
now,
missing out?
well, I would give it a listen to. We'd like at least get a feel for him, because it's
Okay.
it's even funnier that like he'll act disappointed in Mellon, but I mean Mellon's a legacy fucking UFO guy, right? Like we
Yeah.
know that's where the weird shit happens, is
It's
in
like
the
being disappointed
familial
in
lines,
Dodie.
right? Yep.
Oh boy. Well, at any rate, I don't know if you had a chance to peruse the X posting that he left, but it was rather interesting. Now, Mr. Loeb, here we go again, man. Like, we're gonna get into his recent history with 3i Atlas, but he just came out over this last weekend and tried to kind of dominate the UFO conversation. I don't know if his people were like, control the convo going into the weekend. I'm not sure, but at any rate, he hit the investigative journalist podcast scene this weekend and basically said he was asked, i.e., tasked by the White House. You can see it here. This here is from his Medium. Is it Medium? I think it's Medium. Yeah, Medium. From his Medium posting. It says, what could be a better way of doing that than the establishment of a new, quote, UAP Science Advisory Council by the White House, AARO, the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, the FBI, and all intelligence community members. This is not wishful thinking, but a reality now. Over the past week, I was tasked by the above organizations to create a research team of young scientists who will serve on this council. The council, under my leadership, includes the following members. And then he repeats himself. I was tasked by the White House, AARO, ODNI, the FPNI, and the intelligence community to lead and assemble a team of scientists and experts for a new UAP Science Advisory Council. Always a good sign when you can't have things proofread before posting them. The council includes Professor Carol Cleland, Anomaly Identification, Dr. Richard Clote, Data Analysis and AI Tools, Dr. Omer Aldidi, Data Management, AI, and Human Psychology, Dr. Tim Gallaudet, Oceanography, Ross Howard, Communication, Ben Lamb, Oceanography and Biology, Dr. Devesh Nandel, Numerical Analysis and Astrophysics, Professor Gary Nolan, Molecular Biology and Material Science, Dr. Michael Scherner, The Study of Anomalies, Dr. Peter Skafish, Anthropology, Professor Matthew Sidagas, I'm sure I fucked that up, Anomalies, Dr. Janice Vilhauer, Quantitative Psychology. This constitutes an amazing A-team of exceptional scientists. Now, having heard all that, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Or do you have a mouthful of chili?
Shenanigans is what I think. No, the chili's almost done. It's in its simmering phase. Now when it's in,
Oh,
I just made the rice, bro, and we are gonna fucking rock and roll on that one. But
I love
I don't know. Avi Loeb to me anyway is a bit sketch.
right. Why is that? Why is he sketch to you, buddy?
Some of the claims, and then some of the back walking of those claims, and then the amount of fucking money he was asking in the first place. I wonder if he got any amount to that. You know, especially when he's brought in now
With the Three Eye
with this new
Atlas stuff, you mean?
Yeah. He was
Yeah.
looking for $1 billion, right? A
He
cool
was
billion.
looking for lots. He was looking for lots. So we're going to get it. We're going to touch on that, of course. I mean, how could we not, right? Because it's completely relevant that this guy was running around telling people the sky is falling, Chicken Little, there's aliens on a rock, and the rock's going to, you know, it's possible they could get us. So you should give me $1 billion just in case. That's kind of what I got out of it. Now, what's really disappointing about this one, though, is that I started thinking, because I had that same feeling you did, Mr. Flak. I had that feeling that this seems weird and maybe not entirely on the up and up. So I went digging, and it's not so much what I found, but it's what I didn't find. So obviously, if the White House is going to ask someone officially to put together a scientific team to investigate UFOs and UAPs, would you think there would at the very least be a memorandum?
I would hope so. I'd hope they'd have at least like they didn't just throw him in a room and go like, "Hey, go to town." You know, there were some kind of goals and I guess a procedure laid out for achieving that, or at least asking him to provide something of the sort. You know,
Did they
at least like
even
an
ask
itinerary.
him to do it? Because Loeb didn't provide an executive order, a memorandum, a charter, no appointment letters, no meeting minutes. All these guys post their meeting minutes online. You can like see what Tim Gallaudet does in his meetings on Google Meetings. A Federal Register notice, no documentation whatsoever. Just says, hey, President called me and told me to put together this scientific UAP team. Okay, where's the receipts?
Yep. Hackles up. Hackles way up.
When did Trump make a statement that I missed? I'm being for real, y'all. Like, let me know in the chat if I just missed it, but like, try to find it. Try to find it.
That's a damn good point, especially since he loves using anything for a bit of the old sweet PR, you know?
Right. You try to find any information on this group and you can't. But what we can find, once again, are early signs of a money grab, because that's totally the vibe I got with Three Eye Atlas. And it's now the vibe I'm getting from this. So the Medium article says, yes, our understanding of science is incomplete, but this does not give us the freedom to abandon what we already learned. We can get pleasure by imagining $1 trillion in our bank account, but a reality check would restrain our imagination as long as we are not Elon Musk after the initial public offering IPO of SpaceX. Now, I don't bring that up to say like there's anything dirty there, but this is a scientist is supposed to be focused on UAP, and he seems to take every opportunity he can in public to talk about money and getting more of it. And it's just super weird. Like, I don't remember like hearing, I don't know, name a ufologist like Bill Cooper. I remember William Cooper talking about getting $1 billion, $1 million, $1 trillion. I don't remember any Give me a scientist. When's the last time you heard Gary Nolan talk about his income?
Well, actually, yeah, I think that would, back in the day, that would have spoke against your own credibility, being so closely tied with the government, seeing as the amount of secrecy and obfuscation and hiding of all that shit. So, like, you couldn't have done that and still kept your credibility within the UFO field back then. Like Richard Dolan, I mean, what's funny is, like, we have Michael Schratt, right, who now works. I'm not exactly sure where he works, but I know he works in aerospace. But he's been like super critical of the Pentagon and all that stuff. And he even like, if I were to choose a dream team, he would be on it simply because of his like baseline approach to things. He doesn't make wild accusations. He likes a good, healthy amount of evidence. And they didn't throw a shit ton of money at him, and he's already sort of in an apparatus now, where he could respectfully do that and do a good job. But I find it real weird when it's somebody who's, because he's also kind of made a ton of wild claims with the 3i Atlas thing, and there were anomalous activities going on with that, not just the reporting of it, but its own actions in space flight.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big ass, huge, fast moving object, but it's huge to us. To the universe, it's just a piece of space junk,
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think it's like, when does it pass us? I know that it was whipping
3i.
Yeah.
I don't know. You mean when does it come back around?
Oh, did it already pass us? Because I remember they were tracking it way when it had just come into our solar system. They were tracking it, and it was going pretty fucking fast. And then it kind of like once it did the weird color change and stuff like that, and kind of like with the last post Avi Loeb himself did about it. I think it was on who ran with that? Was it News Nation?
Probably one of News Nation or Newsmax, one of them.
Yeah, like that was kind of like the last thing that we heard about it. Not even from like official scientific channels.
He didn't even come out and say my bad. Sorry if
he didn't even
packed up your bomb shelter.
He didn't even come in and say I win either. You know what I mean? It was just silence on both ends.
Nothing. So I'm gonna say he probably didn't get a check cut. Freighter messaging me saying he wish Gabe would speak to me. I'm sorry, Freighter. I said, did I miss a message? Because I'm always available. Just shoot me a message, and I will avail myself to you. Okay, the second paragraph here. The best way to resolve the nature of UAPs is by getting higher quality scientific data. And guess what that means, right? When he talks about gathering high quality scientific data or compiling data or creating a system, that's all stuff you can interpret that as he wants to build it and charge for it, like probably ridiculous amounts of money. Identifying the unidentified deserves a high priority within U.S. government and the scientific community. Notice the focus on U.S. government because he knows that's where the money is these contracts with the government. Once you get that money, oversight's a joke. You could fly a flag outside of an empty building, you'd probably be fine. And buying his yacht. I mean, to me, that's just what this guy's about. That's what it feels like anyway.
I mean, that's worked for less important things all across the board. You know what I mean? Like, how many times do we find out that, and this is through like First Amendment auditors and stuff, but them showing up to facilities to find out that it's only a placard or maybe even like a little tiny name next to a buzzer and nothing of infrastructure. Yeah. Well, what do you do when you find that out? Like, how do you not feel like you're living in some sort of matrix where the government is just shitting on you at every level,
Yeah, it's insane. It was just like, I remember during COVID, a lot of people not being able to get any of that. What was it called? The triple P, the PPP loan money.
Oh yeah, and then
all these businesses
got 3 of them. I think that equaled well over $1 million that she was forgiven for. She didn't have to pay for that.
Are you serious, brother?
Like how do we like I man, I didn't get I think I got one stimulus, and that was because it was
Yeah.
automatically sent, and then every other one was denied. I never got any others after that.
The,
There's
the
just so
people
much
that
fuckery going on.
the people that needed it the most got it the least. Um, it's amazing. I still feel like that to this day. Like you're from Florida, abouts, right? And you
Yep.
guys had that thing where it was we're going to drug test people on food stamps or whatever. And I remember thinking, like, fuck, man, like if there's ever a time to smoke some weed, it's going to be when you lose your job and you got to get food stamps. Now you're going to piss test them so they can't even get food stamps because they smoked a bowl. That's crazy.
It's wild, especially when we have clearly members of cabinet that are doing much worse. I mean, we just got
Oh,
to look at the cocaine incident over at the White House. You
did they
know,
have a new one?
there's always some kind of new thing dealing with politicians and drugs, and then they
Well,
want to demonize it while using it.
what are you referring to there? Because I didn't hear about
Oh,
this.
you didn't hear about the cocaine found at the White House?
I guess not. No.
Oh, this is during 2020, right after
Okay.
Biden was brought in. Um, the staffers found it, and then it was given to the FBI, and then the FBI did nothing with it. They didn't
Well,
prosecute, they didn't fingerprint, they didn't do a single thing. They just went, oh, nope, it's somebody's, but we're not going to tell you whose it was. So everyone was kind of
Peruvian
pointing
flake.
at it was around the time that like Hunter Biden was getting a ton of shit, rightly so. But everyone was
Mm-hmm.
just attributing it
Mm-hmm.
to him. But like, it
Mm.
could have been any number of motherfuckers in there.
Oh,
You know?
yeah, there's so many bodies in and out of there. And I mean, we would be naive to think, there's not drug use going on at most levels. And I would imagine the amount of stress, working there. Holy shit. Not that I'm condoning the use of said substance, but certainly there are people all across the country doing it. Okay, let's get into this little compilation I put together for us here, friend. Now, the UFO tranche, as I like to call it, has seen a third drop this last weekend. Did you see that?
Yeah, I've been slowly going through it. I've been a little disappointed though.
Really?
Yeah, my favorite is always the photos. You get a lot of old cool ones. I love the black and white
Okay.
shit with saucers and stuff. So I'm always waiting for
Okay.
those ones to come out. And the ones that came out in this one, every photo was artistic representation of a sighting. Where like, okay, that's cool, but it's like new AI shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This wasn't like something from the '60s where they drew up, where they had just a talented Air Force person draw their sighting. It
Right.
wasn't anything like that. It was just AI slop, not even good AI. They could have
Jeez.
made an AI video that showed what they were trying to show, and then they wouldn't have had to post 8 photos taking up the space in the files.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of new files, including a lot of new FBI files that we may not have seen before or haven't seen like the official capacity. So a lot of new FBI files, a couple new videos from the FBI that look like they were shot, I don't know, from an agent's phone, or maybe they were sent in anonymously. I'm not really sure, but we're going to start with those videos. There's no sound, so I added a little bit of background music for us. Not very exciting. I mean, it's just like a couple of orbs, but since it's the official release, I went ahead and added it. And then we're going to get into this Avi Loeb story and some of these files as well. You ready, buddy?
Oh yeah, sorry, couldn't find the mic button.
Hang on to your hat, partner. Here we go. I'm going to make it full screen so y'all can see it better. It's the full video, folks. Sorry if you're bored, just staring at a little light on a screen, but this is one of the videos that the FBI put out today.
Yeah, I believe that's over a lake as well, right?
Yes, I was working on getting locations, and we're gonna look at a couple images here soon. Now, as far as locations, for at least one of the visuals we're gonna see here, they believe it was where did that go? I put it somewhere. I'll find it here when we get into it. But yes, they believe it was somewhere near NORAD, I think. So pretty crazy stuff. Now here's a second video from said FBI, and here's like two of them, it looks like. And again, red lights. Why would a UFO need a light? Yet there they are with lights. These are not untrained people.
I just sent you a post on the Tweetar in your DMs.
Okay, I will check that out. Now,
But
this
is for after we discuss these bad boys, but it is relevant.
Yeah. Well, now this is the United States European Command drop. Their videos that they dropped this weekend, and there's some pretty interesting ones in there, man. Like, it's pretty crazy. I inverted the color on some of these so we can maybe get a little bit better look at the moving orbs, I guess is what we'll call them, for lack of a better term. I mean, look at that. It looks like a... If you're going to tell me that's a balloon, sorry, my friend. We are going to disagree.
Well, those are the ones I love seeing, right? Like, because the other one right before this had like a linear path it kind of followed.
Yeah.
It really didn't deviate too much. That one you just had up there did kind of like
up, down.
Yeah, it looked... Well, depending upon where you are, it could be considered like a corkscrew type motion, which I don't know anything that flies like a fucking corkscrew.
Well, it's like if that Tic Tac deal is our tech, that's some wild shit, man. You know, like, how do you pilot a thing like that? How do you control a thing like that? It must be...
This one I like because you have that big ass 18-wheeler in the background, the one that was just on, just so you can get a good idea of what size that thing was. You know, some of these are pretty damn small.
The speed at which it's moving. Now, this one's pretty crazy because we see a jet. You see that there underneath the aircraft? I slow it down here and invert the colors next. You can get a little bit better look at it. But here we go. Now you see it coming in. It's like, hey, jet, how you doing? I'll cut back. Yeah, balloons do that all the time.
It almost looked like it took a second to realize, to notice the jet as well. You know what I mean? Like, it was like, ooh, just as the jet was probably like, what is this? That thing was probably like, ooh, what is this?
Yeah. I tell you, folks, they're preparing us for the really weird shit, it seems like. Because
I still don't like, I hate a narrative, right? But I still don't like any backstory on like, I think it's, I don't want to say dangerous. I'm not going to try and government Karen, but just putting out absolutely nothing, leaving the void for only speculation is wild. You know, the government hates doing that. They love a good chance to place their own narrative, right?
And maybe that's maybe we have Trump to thank for that. You know, that they were like, well, I guess we have to follow this order and put out what we have, while at the same time, I'm sure, classifying anything they possibly can to keep from having to release it. What a crazy time. So this man here is what we're going to get into a little bit, who we've been talking about, Mr. Loeb. And I find that when you talk about Mr. Loeb, some people get very passionate. Have you noticed this, Flak?
Oh yeah. I've also noticed Mr. Avi Loeb gets a little passionate as well, but that's understandable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. If you're facing attacks all the time, I could get that. And I hope he doesn't take this as an attack, but I really don't care. Because the truth
I think.
is, yeah, go
Oh,
ahead,
go
buddy.
ahead. Well, right. Like, I think that people need to start understanding. Like, you make extraordinary claims. There's going to be a need for receipts to come along with some of those things. At least if you're like, I mean, he's kind of an authority on certain matters. You know what I mean? His speculation on 3i got notoriety on many different fronts. Um, so like I don't understand when people can put out such wild claims and then be upset when they're asked about 150 questions. Like, what do you think is going to happen?
Yeah. And quite honestly, if you were watching the podcasts, the interviews, the news shows during the whole 3i hype time, it almost got kind of cringy with Avi like asking for money. I mean, it really got kind of like dirty and and uncomfortable. Like, dude, I mean, every single interview he was mentioning funding. Now, okay, I'm exaggerating because I actually ran through my AI and we came to roughly 45% of the 40 plus interviews he did. So over 20 of those 40 plus interviews, 20 plus videos, he mentioned funding during that 5-6 month span.
And I get it. You're going to need some funding, you know, to eat and be able to survive, and then
Sure.
rent whatever tech you need. But he got enough
Sure.
money to rebuild fucking Arecibo if he wanted. You
He
know,
wanted
like,
billions. He wanted billions. That's what he was saying. Well, let's not forget. And we're gonna run it back here too. But the reason we're talking about the past, and even though 3i Atlas, all that shit was only 7-8 months ago, it feels like 100 years ago because all the things that have happened since then. But it wasn't that long ago that this man was telling us a giant rock was a spaceship headed at us, full of aliens, possibly ready to pounce and attack us. Literally said that in multiple interviews and followed up by, please send me money. Now he's saying the White House has tasked him with putting together a UAP Scientific Advisory Council. But there's absolutely no receipts. Hey, maybe there will be. And maybe it is all legitimate. But in my opinion, buddy, you better show the proof soon. Otherwise, it's not looking good.
and that's just on like a common sense thing, right? Like,
Yeah.
if you make these claims, you don't have enough things to back it up. And then let's say he's the good guy in the scenario where he's not allowed to show the evidences.
Okay.
He also put himself in that position, you know, to have to make those claims without being able to show that. You know,
Yeah.
it's I kind of see a little bit of overlap with the whistleblowers because they're in the same boat, right? Like they
Right.
make some claims, they're asked to
Well,
prove those claims out, and then it's hidden under government
I would
secrecy
say
acts. And
I would say it's a little different for the whistleblower because for most whistleblowers, they are involuntarily put in that situation, right? Like this guy's jumping into it, asking for
oh
money.
yeah, touche.
So it's weird. And to say, I don't know, because if this is complete bullshit, he's basically just counting on the news doing what the news does and forgetting in 24 to 48 hours and him getting the notoriety of being assigned by Trump to put together this cowboy group of UAP scientists. But so far, it's now
also
Tuesday.
underhanded. It's also underhanded. He's going the fucking mainstream news route too, because they are not going to ask the questions that need to be asked. They have no fucking idea what's going on.
Right. So you tell me, folks, if you know something I don't know. But it's now the end of business on the West Coast and it's Tuesday, and he announced this stuff before the weekend. So at this point, I would think there would be something official, right? But still, no. Maybe tomorrow. I don't know. Y'all tell me.
At the very least, maybe a month from now.
Okay, so let's get into Avi Loeb talking about some of the recent developments here, including the recent release of Disclosure Day, which I still haven't seen. What was weird, I went on this little vacay with the family, and we're in this small town. The small town does have a movie theater, chose not to show Disclosure Day. Super weird. They had all the other regular movies, but chose to go without Disclosure. Like, how do you say no to Steven Spielberg over the summer as a theater manager? I don't get it. At any rate, this is Mr. Loeb right after he saw Disclosure Day, and I've kind of gotten this reaction from a few folks that said they've seen it, which was kind of like meh. But I trust Avi Loeb about as far as I could throw him, which actually might be kind of a far distance because he doesn't look like a very
If we
large
team up, we can throw him pretty far.
Just count 3. 1, 2. I get the arms. You get the legs.
A little over and under action.
All right, let's take a look at Avi before the weekend here, folks.
The greatest movie marketing campaign of all time. I want to bring in our all-star UFO panel to break it down. Avi Loeb, astrophysicist, Harvard professor, one of the world's leading voices on the scientific search for extraterrestrial life. Avi, this is a big day for you. Not only the release, you also saw Disclosure Day. It's almost like your birthday, but you got to tell me, you're looking at these objects, the orbs. I don't know what to make of it. Do you have an answer?
Well, I must say, I just saw indeed the movie that Steven Spielberg made up out of his artistic taste and imagination. But reality is far more imaginative than scriptwriters in Hollywood. My main concern, frankly, is that perhaps we're dealing with very sophisticated Chinese drones that are being deposited throughout the US, and we just don't recognize that. And I think that should be a very serious concern within the intelligence agencies.
But Avi, what makes you say that? What's about the way they're moving and separating? Why do you think it could be a Chinese drone?
Well, we are looking at orbs, and the simplest interpretation is that there might be drones that are, for example, releasing baby drones out of them, smaller ones. I'm not sure how feasible that is.
Orbs launching orbs. 3 teams of 2 federal law enforcement special agents independently described seeing orange orbs in the sky emit or launch smaller red orbs in groups of 2 to 4, with 3 being the general consensus. This is stated to have occurred at least 5 times. Each time the orange orb would appear, launched red orbs then disappear. The red orbs would generally move away from the orange mother orb in a horizontal path. Sometimes the red dots would swoop down after being launched from the larger orange orb.
This is from the recent drop. Could have been the DOE, Department of Energy, is where the paperwork came from. Could have been
now the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, led by John Kozlowski, looked into.
So that was us talking about the mothership orbs a month ago.
Now would be the perfect time to show the thing I just sent you, because I was on this about a year ago.
Just getting that. Yeah, I was just getting that downloaded. Now, as I get it pulled up here, this looks like some kind of a sphere.
Oh yeah, and I want you to notice some of the little arms coming off, explaining what those things are, like the little brackets, right?
I saw some symbols. Oh wow. Okay.
You got 4 thrusters, probably 8 because it would be on either side of this thing. You have IR, LED markers, which is infrared. Why would you need that unless you're trying to, maybe they're testing their own capabilities as far as like
Who
the
is this? Who
IR
posted this?
and that kind of thing. But this seems more like a way to trick the shit out of other radars. You know, that even if they are testing it against their own stuff, why, if it works to fool their own ones, why not try it elsewhere?
Where did this come from?
And that's also small enough that like, I'm not exactly sure how big this thing is, but it looks relatively relatively handleable, you know.
Who posted this? Like, where did it come from?
Oh, you're muted, brother.
I am? I don't think so. I think you can't hear me. How about now? Can you hear me now? I bet Flak's having some issues. Of course, he has issues right when I ask for the provenance. How
Muted, but I can't hear a
convenient.
thing.
You can't hear me? Okay, 1 minute. I'll even come back. How about now? Can you hear me now?
Ah, perfect. I don't know what happened, dude. This is
That's
crazy.
so weird.
Every time we would, now this goes back to like Twitter conspiracy shit. But every time we would talk about orbs when I first came into the community, no matter what panel I was on, anytime we got into any of that thing, it would get weird. People would immediately
Shut
get
up.
dropped. This was mostly in some of Logan Black's spaces, where but then you'd have infiltrators and dissenters pop in and just cause total chaos. You know what I mean? Throw accusations out.
Creeps.
Yeah, there's something weird about orbs. And it's kind of strange because it's in the tranche now. We've got orbs as an actual classification of the government. They kind of tried to ignore it for a while. So to now see them put it out and certain things still happen tech-wise when bringing it up, I don't know. I can't ignore it.
It's very interesting too, because like as we go through those old UFO files, now officially, you know, seal of approval stamp from the government, from the military, as we go through those and we start reading the descriptions, yes, there are reports of discs, like flying discs, but when you read the descriptions, it honestly sounds more like what we're seeing with the cameras today, which are the fast moving orb-ish things. And it makes you wonder if it's all the same thing. The disc, the orbs, it's just what form it's in at the time you're looking at it. I don't know. Okay.
Yeah, paranoia. You know, I'm going to point a couple of fingers at me and just say, you're a paranoid, sir.
Well, you know what's funny is I was asking you who posted it, where did it come from, and then
I found
that everything went to shit.
It was my post, but I was the only one at the time. I don't know if anybody's ever caught on.
Where did it come from now?
Oh, I was investigating possible Chinese technology, certain labs that were working on those kinds of things. So, like, I found it in an archive.
So, some Chinese lab?
Yeah. This is in China.
Why? I wonder why it's in. Did you put the words on there?
No, sir.
Because that's in English. That's weird.
Yeah, psychological operations on both sides of the fence, my friend.
Wow.
This was, I believe, what inspired me to look into this. What inspired me to look into this was a conversation I had with Red Panda Koala Bear, because we were getting into like what could possibly cause some of the orbs and basically like technologies that would help facilitate a great psyop. And I was like, well, we've been looking at the balloons from the drone thing. I was like, well, we heard that Iran was using. Well, this is coming from the New Jersey senator, I believe, where he was saying Iran had purchased drones from China, and they were being launched off the coast. And he got that from military channels. And then all of a sudden, that was the last time that was ever mentioned. And then they didn't talk about drones for a little while.
Wow. All right. So, a couple questions for y'all. If you're here and you feel like answering, we're going to watch this take place. And I want you to think as we're watching his interviews during 3i Atlas with Rogan and Danny Jones. Does the constant funding and mention of programs would lead to funding, is it kind of off-putting? Like, does it change? Do you think maybe now his conclusions are because they're motivated by money, not fact, right? So I just want y'all to keep that in your mind as we're watching them talk about 3i.
Looked into the report from
And
2023 and in fact analyzed it in great detail. And he wrote a full memo about it in this release from a week ago, from the 5th of June. And he says that 40% of the phenomena cannot be explained based on what they know, based on technologies the U.S. possesses, and the technologies that foreign adversaries possess. So I must say it's very puzzling. The best way forward would be to get more data and figure it out. I mean, it's like a detective story.
Right. It definitely is.
The Department of War releasing a third batch of UFO files detailing mysterious orb sightings. Now, this has lawmakers calling for greater transparency and protections for whistleblowers who claim billions of dollars have been spent on secret programs.
I should say that this release actually was much more informative in the sense that there was a letter from the director of the Oil Domain Anomaly Resolution Office that just from a week ago that indicates an event in 2023 where law enforcement officials noticed orbs that behave in very unusual ways. They cannot explain 40% of the phenomena that were reported by these agents. And we're talking about an orb that splits into smaller orbs and other phenomena that are quite unusual. There is no doubt in my mind that these are real objects. The question is whether they represent technologies that adversarial nations are employing for espionage on strategic assets that we have. And that makes it a very serious matter. And in fact, today I wrote an essay reporting that I was tasked to create a UAP Science Advisory Council to the White House, to the intelligence agencies, to the Pentagon.
None, folks. There is no evidence. Please.
Oh, it's known as a Cuban sphere satellite. I forgot. I had found a technical name for it. I don't know if it's changed since
this
then.
guy here.
Yeah.
A Cuban
sphere. And not Cuban sphere like my people's, but the Cuban sphere.
Oh, Cuban sphere. So this could actually be what Ryan Graves was talking about. If that's what it's called, right?
Yep. And now it's just kind of odd because this has existed. I found it. I'm not anything special. I don't think anyway. I'm more pedantic than anything.
Yeah. Well, no, it is. It's like the folks pointing out with the boogospheres, like, hey, the tanks that we go to space with gas are spheres. Definitely possible one of those could come falling from the sky. So, and then we had someone go down there and just drill a hole right into the side of it. I thought that was really interesting. Just a DeWalt drill, just right into it. Very scientific. But I guess if you look at it and you think this is some bullshit, who cares about drilling into it, right? So, no evidence. Google UAP Scientific Advisory Council, White House, 2026, Avi Loeb, and all you will find are stories of him saying that he's been asked to start this group. Okay, sir.
And I hope that together with my team of scientists, young scientists, we'll be able to resolve some of these mysteries, because at the very least, it's a matter of national security. My conclusion is that reality is far more exciting.
And I added the cha-ching to national security because that really is the kicker, right? You tell the government this is about national security, and at least from what they tell us, that will light the fires and kick the tires is national security. We got to get this funded. Got to get this funded. National security. You don't want to be the one that voted against protecting America, do you? Do you, Flak?
Absolutely
You
not.
care about this country? You want your kid to blow up? Oh, boy.
Than Hollywood scripts. Personally, I have a hard time enjoying the artistic freedom displayed in science fiction, because
He looks like a kind of guy that have a hard time enjoying a Steven Spielberg movie, doesn't he?
Oh man, yeah, maybe a bit. He did go a little hard right in the beginning.
I mean, I would say, given what we know, Spielberg has been more right when it comes to scientific issues than Mr. Loeb. Oh shit, I said it. Yep.
the creators often violate the known laws of physics. Yes, our understanding of science is incomplete, but this does not mean that we have the freedom to abandon what we already learn.
We can't just go using our imaginations, even though we know physics as we understand it is not a complete picture. What do you think this is? Can't think like that. Goodness. Okay. So that's his current hustle. The White House UAP Scientific Council. You don't have to remember that name because right now it's still not officially a group. Let's look at the 3-Eye Atlas hustle. And I'm just going to give you a taste. Just a taste of, and you can take these two interviews and multiply them by about 40 because he gave the same interview every fucking time.
Yeah, there is a lot of misinformation. You know, some people said, I invented 3-Eye Atlas, this object, in order to distract attention from the Epstein files.
Is that what people are saying?
Yeah, and I said, look, this object is the size of Manhattan Island. It's at 4.5 times the Earth-Sun separation. If I was able to put it out there, you know, I would be more powerful than the Pope. Well,
This is a very unusual object.
there is something really important to recognize here. That usually when you deal with scientific matters, they have very little impact. Here, if we ever encounter alien technology, everything will change. It will affect the financial markets. It will affect politics in a major way. So my point is simple. This is different than other scientific matters, and the intelligence agencies know very well that events with very small probability have to be considered seriously because they could have major implications. And all we need to do as responsible scientists is to check if among all the rocks that come from outside of our backyard are really rocks, or maybe one of these objects might be a tennis ball that was thrown by a neighbor. And the reason I say that is, you know, we live at our home, on Earth, next to the sun. We look around us in the cosmic street, and we see a lot of houses just like ours.
Physical object that came from a neighbor's yard that you can study. If it's a rock, you can learn what the neighbor's yard has. If it's a tennis ball that was thrown by a neighbor, you can learn about the neighbor. And maybe the neighbor will come and knock on your front door. That's the other possibility that we have to contemplate. We haven't really considered what to do if there is a visit by alien technology that could pose a threat to humanity. You know, people would say it's very small probability that this would happen. First, they don't know how to calibrate. We don't know how much traffic there is of interstellar technological objects. But secondly, we don't have a protocol for how to deal with that. And, you know, the intelligence agencies always have a protocol for how to deal with black swan events. These are events that have small probability but big impact on society.
An object that arrives to your backyard or your mailbox from that
A
resident.
black swan event.
A black swan event.
You must have a way of collecting information that would basically neutralize the threat.
So we should hedge our bets. You know, we should invest billions of dollars on both fronts. At the moment, the scientific community is willing to allocate more than $10 billion to searching for microbes, but no recommendation is made to allocate any federal funding to the search for intelligence. And I say that is an oversight. It could be a black swan event. It could be something that affects the future of humanity. And if we behave, you know, very conservatively, we might not last very long. You know, the best way to respond to a blind date is to observe the other side. Don't speak, just observe the other side, because it may be different than what you think. And maybe, you know, on one of the dates, you will have a serial killer on the other side.
We haven't really considered what to do if there is a visit by alien technology that could pose a threat to humanity. You know, people would say it's very small probability that this would happen. First, they don't know how to calibrate. We don't know how much traffic there is of interstellar technological objects. But secondly, we don't have a protocol for how to deal with that. And, you know, the intelligence agencies always have a protocol for how to deal with black swan events. These are events that have small probability but big impact on society.
So there you have it, folks. And you take those interviews and you can multiply them by 50, 60, and that's what he was doing in every single interview. He was fear-mongering. He was saying that a rock could potentially have a bunch of aliens on it that would invade Earth and, I don't know, wipe us out or something. I have no idea. War of the Worlds. And, oh, by the way, send me your money, because when the world blows up, money's not even going to matter anyway, right? So you might as well send it to me. Maybe I can save you.
Out of risk of getting us kicked off, I won't sing the song where it's like the best things in life are free. But that's what's going on here. You can give them to the birds and bees. I want the money. You know,
man,
that's what this is all about. Sweet, sweet greenbacks.
It really is, and it's the reason why, like, when I first kind of came on the scene, tiny scene, and I love all my viewers and subscribers. Thank you for sharing this journey with me. But when I first kind of came on the scene, that's why I came in so hot after Elizondo, because I felt like that's exactly what he was doing. He was taking a subject that literally can, like, affect all of us, every single last human being on Earth, some on a very emotional and spiritual way. Taking that, twisting it up with fear, and trying to push people's buttons so he could get rich. It's exactly what he was doing. If you look at the track record, it was a plan that he had. He had planned it out. And that kind of shit drives me crazy, like I'm sure it drives you crazy. That's why y'all hang out, because taking advantage of people strikes that nerve for a lot of us, I think. We don't like to see it, and especially about this subject. And we see here, once again, before we move on from Loeb, I do just want to point out, though he said several days ago, he's been tasked by the White House to lead the UAP Scientific Advisory Council. There's literally no evidence that he's doing that. There's no position. There's no company. There's no entity, governmental or non-governmental, with that name and those people that he named. Nothing. Now, in a month's time, if it's all established, great. Gabe was wrong. My bad. But if they come knocking at your door asking you for funding, just remember TTSA, folks. Just remember TTSA. I hope you weren't an investor. Speaking of people getting tired of other people in this field taking advantage, a one UAP GERB had some not so nice things to say about a Christopher Mellon. Now, you sound like you had an opinion on this matter when we first started out. What's your thoughts on this UAP GERB Christopher Mellon beef here? Well, it sounds more like he's got a beef with Mellon. I don't know if Mellon even gives a shit.
Well, it's kind of like a what did you expect, sir? These are legacy UFO people tied to the government end of those things. The government that has been hiding all of this information and just now finally told you, all right, you weren't crazy the past 100 years seeing shit like this. To then go like, oh, I'm disappointed in how Mellon conducted. Like, come on now. You gave him too much credit when you fucking allowed yourself to be disappointed by this.
Yeah. Well, so I this is going to be my honest reaction because I have not even read this yet. I took some screenshots of what he had posted and getting them loaded up right now. But did you hear the general gist of what he was pissed about while I get this loaded up? No? Let's see. I got it right in front of me here. Let's see. So it says, Mr. Mellon, while many, including myself, appreciate your tenacity here, this is a perplexing tweet. You are calling for the release of UAP space data, satellite data, and detection from the ballistic missile early warning system. However, you yourself have commented on several occasions on the existence of both the legacy programs and recovered materials biological samples. The number one example that comes to mind is this redacted signal messaging screenshot you released in 2024 in response to Sean Kirkpatrick voluntarily offering signal exchanges between you and him for a FOIA release. This redacted exchange with an unknown individual not only confirms that you know the management structure, security, control systems, and ownership of the crash retrieval portfolio, but you are also aware of a highly classified memo by Secretary of the Air Force in the 1950s that is still in effect to maintain cover for the legacy programs. Oh, wow. Indeed.
Would that be like the Wilson memo?
I don't know. I hope that's not what he's talking about. Indeed, you also in this exchange confirm you are aware of the Air Force legacy SES-2 gatekeeper, likely Russell Weiler, and state the 1953 Kingman, Arizona UFO crash was indeed real and recovered. So why exactly is this memo by a former Secretary of Air Force or the release of the Kingman wreckage and biologics not a priority for you? These have lower precedence than your listed imminent SIGINT data? Question mark. All right, sir. So sounds like he's questioning if Mellon is really wanting to be part of the solution or if he's there to obfuscate. That's what it sounds like to me. You have said similar things on several occasions regarding UFO retrieval and exploitation, including a 2023 News Nation appearance with Chris Cuomo, where you stated, "I've been told that we have recovered technology that did not originate on this earth by officials in the Department of Defense and by former intelligence officials." And that got me back in the day in 2017 when they said there's a memo where someone says technology not made on this earth. Do you remember hearing that?
Yes, sir. But that could also be right. Like, they're trying to do things with certain cube satellites that work. They're using this with medicine, biologics, and all sorts of stuff. But where they send shit out to where it's far less gravity than here, to where they can get certain elements to align properly without pesky gravity getting in the way. So like that could be what it means, like without explaining what it means, give it more of an esoteric like framework to what these things are, as opposed to, hey, they're ours, we're making them in space and sending them back down.
Yeah. And well, so it looks like he's calling out Elizondo as well. This feels like a bizarre pivot back to your and Mr. Elizondo's 2017-2023 narrative of discussing an amorphous, non-human presence of this planet met without breaking into the fine details of recovered technical vehicles or biologics. At the same time, I find it bizarre that your list is excluding maritime UFO sensor data encounters. We know all the way back to the days of Project Blue Book, USO maritime UFO encounters are often strikingly anomalous and occur almost more frequently than any space-based UFO monitoring and tracking. That's interesting. So Gerb says that we have more reports of UFOs over the ocean than we do up in the skies. Wow, if that's true, that's very interesting. Others and I share the concern that within the Age of Disclosure documentary, Jay Stratton, who retired as a Defense Intelligence senior executive from the Office of Naval Intelligence, purposefully excluded Navy elements from the film's legacy program outlined 2 elements. Mr. Mellon, are you... I'm sorry, I just lost my spot here. Well, that was weird. Okay, Mr. Mellon, are you doing the same? Admiral Gallaudet has advocated for the study of UFO, USO, and maritime environments tirelessly. Why do you not also advocate for release of such data? Why is that, Flak?
They're bastard men. I think they're bastard men. They like watching us sweat, and they like watching us make a fool of ourselves trying to figure this shit out. Maybe.
I think you're on point with he's part of the legacy program. I think he's got that personality where like almost like a sociopath, right? Like
well, I think it started with his father, didn't it? I mean, like it's a familial thing.
Yeah, I've heard.
Because I remember the Mellon name being closely tied in with the continuation of government paperwork that has been floating around the UFO community, which is funny because they like to deny that for a while, and then all of a sudden, when Cheney died, there was a slight admittance that like, okay, now we're gonna have to find a new head of the COG.
Right. Yeah. It is interesting, and I mean, continuation of government, it's not necessarily like an evil thing or anything, but it is interesting to see them, back in the early days, they were trying to deny it, that kind of thing. What do you think it's just to cut down on panic? Do you think that's really what it was about? They just don't want people to freak out, and there's a lot of people that will freak out.
They give like, all right. So I think they were hoping for some kind of panic that didn't happen, right? To release all this kind of information with like the tranches that we've seen. without anything behind it. You know what I mean? Without any official response or official answer. I feel like they're leaving that void for whatever reason. It just doesn't make sense. Like, man, how for so long have they tried to make it look like we are the biggest, baddest, like military on the block? And now they're letting it slip. Oh, we don't know what this is. We don't know what that is. They chose to ignore all that shit beforehand. And I mean, like public facing, they chose to not acknowledge publicly any of the UFO stuff. So now that they're like acknowledging it with nothing, you know, like, I don't know. It's just very strange to me. It seems like they're looking for a War of the Worlds type scenario where people are freaking out and en masse, you know, so they have a reason to bring in some kind of, I don't know, overarching
like the old what was that? The Project Blue Beam.
Yeah, but this is Project Blue Beam without any of the tech being implemented yet, right? Like, because with Blue Beam,
just mentally getting people there.
Yeah, because what Werner von Braun was saying was it was more or less going to be a false flag type of thing where massive amounts of people see something prosaic and don't know what the hell it is. And now we're not getting this. We're getting photos of something prosaic that only one or two people might have encountered. You know, they're just hoping, similar to like how the rollout with Disclosure Day, the movie, like that so many people have had these experiences that they can, I guess, gaslight you into their own narrative, minus the narrative. Like, why do this?
Yeah. Well, you know, what we continuously cover, the Epstein case, the fact that there's, you know, 3 million pages that still haven't been released. Clearly there's a connection between the people that want to know the truth about UFOs and UAPs and the people that want to know the truth about the disgusting side of the rich monopolist side of human beings, right? Like, it's unknown, and unknowns raise interest in certain people. Like myself. What is this flying above me? Why can't I talk about it? Why can't we tell anybody about it? Why isn't anything being done? Why do they make you feel like you're crazy if you say you've seen something?
And like they also didn't take any of that back, right? You know, it's not like they came out with an apology being like, all right, you know what, we fucked around. We're sorry. There was none of that. So it's still, you're crazy, but now here's other crazy looking things that we're hoping more people get riled up over. It's just, I don't know, so strange, like the path that they're going with this one.
Yeah. The general will say he went down to the Roswell bar and, you know, posted a picture about aliens or some shit. Like, what the fuck? Why? So, no, actually, I'm sorry. I know why the general would have done what he did. I think we all know, right? But is it really just because of a couple university professors got together and said people couldn't handle it? We're still stuck here. And the point I was making is that this is a great distraction from Epstein. This is a great distraction from $6 a gallon for gas because, oh yeah, we're at war with Iran. That wasn't authorized by the Congress, by the way. Is a great distractor. And isn't there a election about to happen in Israel?
There was supposed to be. Then it got obfuscated by the war.
No, I think there's a new one coming up. I think they like rescheduled it or something. Let me look it up. But yes, the thing about researching and studying UFOs, aliens, UAP, paranormal, whatever you want to call it, is that you can manipulate and mislead people in these groups because there is no like one trusted source, right? We're all going to different sources and getting bits and pieces of knowledge and trying to understand who we can actually listen to that's telling the truth, and then those that are halfway telling the truth, and so on and so forth. And it's just so crazy. You see why people crash out. Like, did you ever see the Jared Leto crash out where he was like bashing shit in his house?
Oh no! How the hell did I miss that? When was
You
this?
didn't see that?
Pre Joker
Oh, buddy.
or after Joker?
No, hold on. Oh, I'm not gonna find it anyway. Yeah, I'm not gonna find it. Okay. So at any rate, getting back on topic here, these UFO files, you were saying in the beginning, it's almost like dangerous the way that they're releasing them. What do you mean by that?
Well, like it's the same thing I say with government secrecy. It's the same thing I say with secret societies and Illuminati and all that shit, and Freemason lore, right? Like, you leave the plebs, me included, with a void of information, which is like a lack thereof. We're going to fill it with shit that makes sense to us by following the dots, right? So when we come up to our crazy, wacky conclusions about dumb shit, you know, like where we completely miss the mark on some things, maybe you're going to damn us, but then also hold that badge of secrecy, like, oh, I get to know the things. Well, fuck off. You know, we're going to make up whatever the hell we can to make it make sense. You know, so like it's inherent to the task, right? Like where I think it's funny now that they kind of maybe have figured that one out and they're now using it against us, but in such a strange way. I don't see what the outcome will be that's good for the government, unless it's like another Patriot Act type of thing, where they're hoping enough people get all spooked up that we beg for daddy government to come in and lay down all the rules to make us feel safe and sound again.
Right. This is interesting. This is from the CIA, and my eyebrows kind of go up every time I see CIA acting in any like local national capacity. Like they should, especially back then, right? 40s, 50s. Like, what is the CIA doing operating inside of the states? That's kind of
I
weird.
also want to point out that just about everybody that we trusted in this administration to do the right thing when it came to Epstein and all the others, you know, ufology, all the stuff, right? They all got CIA challenge coins and then brandished them on their social media like, hey, look at the cool gift the CIA gave me. I wonder if that's where all the cancer is coming from. You know, that some of these politicians are now having. Because what I would have done was take a Geiger counter, and even if it gave off any radiation or not, I would have yeeted that thing as far as I could. The second they handed it to me, like, thanks, but no thanks, whipping it across the room. I might have gotten killed then, just out of the hubris of the CIA anyway. But why are they handing out challenge coins to new political inserts? You know, it I don't know, especially since like we saw what happened with the MK Ultra stuff, right? You know, like, but I'll go find the receipts for that.
Yeah, they're so fucking like no holds barred, buddy. They don't care. Yeah, I could totally see them doing that. And fuck, I hate to man, I hate to even think like this, but like missing scientists, you know, could they possibly be involved in that? Now I'm not saying fuck. It's such a tough one, right? Because intelligence is such a gray line. And when people, like we've talked about it before, when people think they're doing the right thing for their country, then that gives them a really good excuse, to pretty much do anything and be able to sleep at night. Okay, so I'm zooming into this document because this says this happened in 2008. And this is a CIA report that was included in this tranche of documents. Now here, this looks like a list of all the fucking people that had access to this report. And I mean, we're talking folks from Fort Bragg, folks in DC, folks in NGA Navy Yard. We've got different, I'm sure Wright Patterson's on the list here. Information Intelligence Agency information report, not finally evaluated intelligence warning, sensitive intelligence sources and methods involved. Any transmissions or revelations of this information in any matter to unauthorized person is prohibited. Violators may be subject to criminal prosecution, including under the espionage laws of the United States. Death. You may die, sir. Okay. Zimbabwe, July 3rd, 2008. Oh, I love this great report here. It's all redacted. As of early July 2008, redacted, was reporting from Zimbabwe, blank, regarding an unidentified object hovering at high altitude over the Harare International Airport. This object was observed possibly by both radar and optical means in the skies above Harare during the afternoon of July 2nd, 2008. Reporting blank indicated that the object hovered at an undetermined altitude directly above the Harare Airport. At one point during observation, beams were observed emitting from the object. Dude, this is just like that video that we watched in that was in China. Individuals who are aware of the incident had debated whether the object was an advanced reconnaissance device belonging to a foreign government or whether the object was an unidentified or whether flying object of extraterrestrial origins. According to observers, the object was disc-like in shape with a hollow center. Hollow center? How would they know how to hollow center? And had a series of rotating lights on the underside of the airframe. After a period under observation from the ground, the rotating lights under the object shifted colors, and the object quickly ascended to the higher altitudes of out of visual range, regardless of the origins. This incident, I'm sorry, it's kind of hard to read with all the blanks and shit. This incident had resulted in the decision to place the Zimbabwe on high alert. The Zimbabwe. We placed the Zimbabwe on high alert, and then it's all redacted. Okay, so there you have, like, that is very similar to a video that I have here. I'll pull it up in just a second, but man, what are your thoughts when you hear that one?
Sorry, I had to get back to the page. I'm trying to
good,
find who got those CIA challenge coins, because it kind of destroys the entire narrative of everything once you realize that they're brandishing their special little coins they got from the CIA for doing what? Well, I'm not sure, but why are you asking them for anything in a combative way when behind the scenes you're clutching your little coin that they gave you? I'm sorry, what was the question?
So you're really bothered by these coins, aren't you?
I'm bothered by the CIA operating in the United States. That was like the whole reason why we didn't allow it to happen, because they're dirty fucks who have absolutely zero morals.
Well, we're talking about an organization that was founded on like overthrowing governments, sowing distrust and lies and deceit and murder, assassination, They literally wrote in a book the best way to assassinate people. And then they killed one of their people, Fromdahl, by doing it. Like, you cannot make this shit up.
Like, all we have to do is just remember, no matter what comes out, morals are good. No matter what we hear from our government telling us to go fight a war where children are dying en masse, our morals are good. You can say no to that. You should be able to get out of military duty. And now let's say you have to fight a man. Okay, that's fine. Fighting a man, they send you to go over. You got to fight another man with a gun. You both took on that responsibility. You both realize your fate in that sense. You know what's possible. But to then send somebody over to do that, and then 50 children accidentally die in some sort of way. I think that's bullshit. I think if you could see the forest for the trees, you can tell that that's where certain things are going. You should be able to go, well, no, I want religious sanction, so I don't have to go do this. I want to be taken out of the equation because this goes against my moral, ethical framework that is brought on by my Catholicism. I'm sorry, I love this government. For 100 years, I'll do whatever it takes to make my country better. But doing so shouldn't involve my eternal soul being stuck in hell. Peter is not going to look at you on the at the gates and go, "Oh, you murdered 50 children because of your country and your love of country. We'll see you in hell." I'm pretty sure that there are very few exceptions there. And this goes back to the Bible.
Well, there was that time when the Pope gave all the Crusaders a free pass.
Yeah, but all right, maybe you know what? I'll say this because I did love Dogma. I think we covered Dogma, right? Like, we did the movie on the day we did the thing. So I guess that you can weasel your way in there, Pope, you fucker. But I mean, I don't know, man. I feel
that
like
was a good show. Did you ever see that one on HBO, The Young Pope?
Oh no, is that with
I think it
Jude
had,
Law or?
Yes, the first couple seasons I'm pretty sure had.
I love Jude Law. I think he's a great actor. I didn't see it though.
Yeah, definitely kind of an overlooked, underrated guy. But so is there any going back from the CIA operating here? I mean, that's kind of it, isn't it? It's like the government, like once you give them an inch, they're going to take a mile.
And then hide the mile underground, right? Yeah, they're going to take a mile and then hide it underground so you can't see the fucking thing. Oh, I've got it. You know what? It's going to take me a minute. I got to walk my dog real quick. She's barking.
You're good, buddy. Take care of the doggy. And while you do that, I'm looking frantically, folks, for this video, because this video is a perfect, the explanation we just read is exactly what we have on video here. Let me see. So sorry for the delay. I have so many projects I'm working on, so I kind of have to shuffle through a lot. Oh, is this the one? This is not the one. So I think we have both come to the conclusion. I kind of came to the conclusion a long time ago that I don't trust Avi Loeb. I mean, I wouldn't trust the guy as far as I could throw him. I just, the 3i Atlas thing, you had a guy, that's the thing. He's like MIT, Harvard, or Stan, I can't remember which one. MIT, super smart guy, researcher, all this stuff. But there's just something off about him, man. I'm telling y'all, I do not believe anything that guy is saying. Like, not a fucking thing. Now, as far as what Flak brought in, I don't know what the fuck that is. Anybody want to help out and tell us what this is? I do find it interesting that once we started talking about it and put it up on the screen, we started having all these fucking weird ass system issues. Wow. Okay. Let's go back.
I also hit Red up in the back channels. I think I stumped him a little bit.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, he was like, I don't know. So, yeah, all right. I love doing that because I do that to myself, and then I hate myself for it, and then I'm like, wait a minute, maybe I'm not smart enough. And then I show it to some very apt people, and then they're confused as well, and I'm like, all right, we're all retarded.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much. Okay, so going back to these files. So that was a CIA one, and that was a fucking UFO flying disc shooting beams at the ground in Zimbabwe. And that was a CIA report.
What the
That
fuck
wasn't
is
like a
going on
drunk
in
guy.
Zimbabwe? Right? What's going on in Zimbabwe? Because I can understand it in Manhattan. I could understand it over Red Rock Arsenal. I could understand it over Lockheed Martin. I could understand it over Area 51, 2, 3, 4. Why in Zimbabwe? What the hell is going on in Zimbabwe? I'm pretty sure from like everything I've seen that they're on the lower end of like the tech oligarchy, right? Like the Western civilization seems to have that market cornered. So like, where is the efficiency? Where's anything? What are they looking for over there? Unless it's like ground minerals, you know, or unless they're testing. It's a military apparatus testing capabilities and things far from any watching eyes, you know. And like it's always funny because unless they're watching things from over there on purpose. Like, what do they just watch everything at all times? I don't know if that's exactly possible, especially like I don't remember the date on this. Is this a new one or is this like from the 80s?
2008.
Okay, so maybe they it's still like that's a big task to be able to watch everything all at once, especially in the U.S. Like Zimbabwe is not a threat to us. You know what I mean? I can understand if the past 20 years they're looking at Iran, solid.
It's a CIA report, so it was probably some, some CIA agent down there working something. I doubt he was down there looking for UAPs. He was probably down there, working cover for some NGO or something, and saw this thing.
I tend to think a lot of the humanitarian efforts. I tend to think a lot of the humanity, like we got into this a little bit when we were talking about USA ID, and I tend to think that any bit of good that the U.S. does outside of this country is a way to like ham-fist their way into some kind of intelligence or manipulate things in some sort of way. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was quote unquote humanitarian efforts that would have seen this, but with ties to CIA or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, did I tell you about the weird thing I found with NASA and USAID in 2019?
You probably did, but I must have forgot it. What was it?
Oh man, NASA was hitting up USAID for funding.
Ha!
Why? Isn't that supposed to be like out of the U.S.?
Easy
like,
money.
Why the fuck are they get? But I also found the director of both hanging out and chatting in a meeting prior to that, and it was publicly available information.
No,
like everything. It wasn't like any of this is in secret channels, but I just find it weird.
Was Space Force a thing by then? When did you say it was?
2019,
Okay,
2020
so
was
Force.
when some of this press kit stuff was. It was there,
Space
or at least
Force.
it was talked about. Because I think he did that in 2017 or 2018. Trump did.
Yeah, and you notice the Space Force talk with Elizondo and Doty is always very obfuscated.
Contentious.
They're never very clear about what the fuck the relationship is.
And you know me, I'm not the biggest fan of Doty. All right, so I'm a fan of his personality. He's a very nice guy. Many of us in the UFO community, including yourself and I, have talked to Richard Doty from time to time to try and suss out whatever answers we can. And he's a very nice individual. Like, he reminds me of a really kind grandpa, a really kind older uncle. You know, like
That's
he
how he
has the
gets you.
paternal traits. Yeah, that is exactly how he gets you. You know, so like it's not like I don't like talking to him, but I don't trust him. I don't really trust anybody from that apparatus. But this is the one instance where he diverted from the path of the normal things, and he outright openly admitted that he was asked to do counterintelligence work within the UFO community by that apparatus and Lou Elizondo's involvement in Space Force, and he said he wanted nothing to do with it, and he's been public about that response. So I'll give him props if that is not another propagandist campaign on its own. You know, so I'll give Doty a bit of credit on that one. But that's where him and Lou split right the fuck off, right?
Yeah. And that's the thing is I mean, how do we know what to accept and what not to accept, you know, from this guy? Because if you're willing to lie about the other stuff, how do we know it's just so hard with Doty. I just can't do it with Doty. You're right. He's a very nice man,
buddy.
But I wouldn't be asking him any questions about UFOs.
I err on the side of the FBI's own tactics with body language, speech pattern analysis, things like that. Like you can train yourself on all the same stuff that the CIA and the FBI does. All the information is out there. They're little training manuals.
100%.
Some of it may be outdated because the newer stuff is probably
do it on YouTube.
Yep. Well, I got into that from who was it? Chase Hughes and the behavior.
Chase Hughes is great
analyst. Yeah, dude. Because they'll sit there and give you a step-by-step tutorial on how to read bullshit artists, right?
Yeah.
Like ums and ahs and likes aren't as bad as out-and-out stuttering or complete silence. You know, like there are certain ways that these things go to where, like, I believe I found a couple of Doty's tells, because he'll giggle when you ask him a question he wants to answer. And when you ask him, and this is just very simple, you guys can check this out on your own. Like I said, I'm not really trying to talk shit on Doty. He's been very nice to me. But he gets very stuttery when you ask him a question that I don't think he's allowed to answer, you know? So I kind of picked up on that, like my first week in UFO Twitter, when I got to ask him. This is the cool thing, right? I was a nobody, had no following. Just came in and wanted to ask a couple of questions because I was curious, and he allowed me to do it. He didn't lambast me. He was very polite, but he did get stuttery around certain questions, especially ones concerning some of the early quote unquote quantum computing or supercomputers back in the 80s and 70s. He answered a couple of questions, but he really didn't know. You know, or he claimed he really didn't know.
Well, here's the thing. If it's, let's say, I don't know, it's 1988 and you are in the intelligence field under Ronald Reagan, you're pretty high up there, guy or gal, and someone hands you a computer with a large language model and access, because at that time the military had internet, so access to all that information, there's no way they wouldn't have been just 100% sold on that kind of a system right out of the gate. Think of how advanced that would have been in 88 to 90.
Oh, I would have loved that, because they wouldn't have thought of the gaslighting, especially if it's like think of how unlocked that system would have been, because this is now detrimental, or it could be on the other end of that, where it's like an amazing thing to have along with your technology in order to, because you have so many people working together. Let's say if you just at least had an LLM or something to the like, where different people in different areas that are not allowed to talk to each other but can converse through an automated system that gatekeeps where it can, and then gives proper answers, as opposed to what we have now with the commercial versions, where it's just willing to gaslight you. Because I was doing this with the challenge coins just now, just trying to see where Google will take this without any framework prompts. And what it immediately started doing was conflating it with the FBI one. Because there are FBI challenge coins. There's all sorts of different things. So it kept trying to bring that in. Yeah. Which they're all not bad, and even the CIA may not be bad. But just the simple fact that you're gonna lambast the CIA for the MK Ultra stuff, and then accept a gift in the other hand, it doesn't work that way. You can't be super critical and then also accept a pat on the back. You like let's say you do something good, and the devil comes out of the woodwork and he goes, I know I'm a bad guy, but you did a good job there. Are you going to accept it, or are you going to look at him and go, "Ooh, was there something I didn't know about on the back end of me doing this?" Because that's what I equate them to. They are not good people.
Why do I have to accept this award from the person that fucked me over?
Yep. Or fucked a whole entire country over in the most underhanded, shady way possible. We just look at the banana wars, right? The Chiquita banana wars, started by the Chiquita Banana Corporation, trying to take over an entire the banana trade in another country, right? So they fucked everything up. They installed it into USA friendly hands, and then
fucked up the roots, right?
Yep. It also got way worse than that. This is me just giving a Cliff Notes version, but we see things happen where, on the offset, okay, maybe the extraneous data is okay. But when you start looking at the operations and the things they had to do to make the operation work, you start realizing a lot of dirty things had to be done. It's like with Cuba, to think that it was all above board what happened with Cuba, and this is the 50s and 60s, is to ignore every bit of information we found out since then,
Yeah, Cuba was, the Bay of Pigs was a big one. It was a big one, and you could argue, that he'd still be alive had he have backed up those soldiers at the Bay of Pigs. But we didn't have a nuclear war, which was a big plus for me and my kids. So I'm happy about that.
Oh yeah, big time. But it's also the way the Bay of Pigs was done, right? It was secret. Yeah. It was a secret operation that he said he didn't want to happen. And we're talking about JFK here. He said no. He said, I don't want this to happen. And then, what was it? A month later, he gets a word that there are a bunch of our men in uniform, which I respect the things they do for this country. But there's a bunch of men in uniform that need our help doing the operation you vowed you did not want to happen. He's the tough parent that was no, you got yourself in that situation, get yourself the fuck out, especially since I told you not to cut school and leave to New Jersey, and you did it anyway. And now you have no money, you got mugged, figure out a way home, where I'm assuming the same type of thing would happen in that scenario where you may come back without a finger or two, you may come back just fine, but you understand the risks. And now being thrust in a situation, the people involved, now they understand the risks, because that also led into Watergate. They were the same men who came in and did all that shit. So that these men had a moral ambiguity.
The guys that did Watergate, boy, what a cast of characters that was. Okay, so I wanted to share this video real quick. Some of y'all have probably seen it already, but we just read that CIA report from 2008 with a disc that came down and was shooting beams of light. Now, for a lot of folks, this got memory hold. You saw it a long time ago and then just fucking filed it away under, well, that was fucking weird, probably fake kind of shit, right? Well, guess what? Not fake. This thing was photoed and videoed from multiple different people, multiple different angles, shut down an airport for hours, and they never did find out what it actually was. Well,
Dude, I saw one of
the
those.
people
I
didn't.
saw something almost just like that, even though that kind of looks like a spotlight, right?
It does.
I saw an amber-colored orb passing over. It wasn't as far up as Midtown. It's probably like it starts with a G, Gramercy. There you go, which is like around like 33rd to it might be a bit before 33rd. It's actually probably like 25th to 34th Street, like right before you get to like all that other big giant tourist trap. But it's about like maybe 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, and I see this orange orb traversing the sky very slowly, like a helicopter, very low, about eye level. I'm watching it go, and I'm like, well, that's a strange looking helicopter, because I see a spotlight emitting from it. And then the second I tap my friend's shoulder, I'm like, hey, there's no blinking lights on that. It's just a solid thing, right? As he's turning to look at it, the thing zigzags and takes the fuck off. But not until I pointed it out to him. But now by take off, I mean it went zigzag in opposite directions and then straight up out of the sky.
Yeah.
And this is Manhattan, you know, like there's a lot of light pollution there. So I don't know how far up into the sky it went or where the fuck it went. But this was too fast to be a drone, especially a civilian drone. And very weird that the second I noticed it, and now that, like, I'm all the way down past Houston Street by at least 10 blocks. So I'm about 40, at least like 2-3 miles away from this thing, watching it on a roof, you know, to just very weird. But that was one of the anomalous things that I've seen. That I don't know why it didn't give a shit that I saw it, but once I got my friend's attention, who actually was in the process of turning around to look at it, it was already gone.
It's so
very
weird.
strange.
It does that, right? Like, I think I told you I saw a weird thing the other night, just driving down the interstate. I came over this hill, and dude, like right over me, a greenish, almost like the color of my moon here, my logo, orb kind of traverses up and over, kind of makes this arc, and then it just kind of like fizzles out and disappears into nothingness.
Oh, that's so weird, dude. That's so weird. That's like because it could be plasma, but who knows? But that type of stuff
no
is
idea.
like, it just leaves you sat there for a minute or two, like, what did am I crazy? Did I just make that up? And then you're like, no, I was driving, I was doing, like, you're doing other shit. Yeah, you're doing other things to where, like, you're not, because, like, maybe if you're bored and you're daydreaming, thinking about stuff, like, okay, maybe you may misconstrue, but well, when you're in another activity that you're concentrating on, you're present because you were driving, to then see something that it's doing, like, those are the wildest ones to me.
Yeah. It gets, you know, that's the thing. Like for me, covering this and speaking with the people I've spoken to, like I've experienced, and you hear it a lot from people that cover this stuff, is a lot of the synchronicities and, you know, coincidences that probably aren't coincidences. Like that shit happens, man. I'm telling you. It happens. So this is one you probably memory hold. Check this out. Again, this is legit. And we just, when it happened, we're like, well, okay. I mean, it was in China. I guess it wasn't here, so that's good.
There was an unknown object seen in the skies over the airport. So according to our regulations, we had to close the airspace. Aircraft movements were suspended from 8.
And it says, as you can see down here, courtesy of Eyes on Cinema, they have, if you're not subscribed to Eyes on Cinema and you're into UFOs and weird shit, I highly suggest you do so, because they have a great library bank of all kinds of craziness.
8:45 p.m. to 9:41 p.m.
Airport staff say the first reports of the UFO came in just after 8 p.m. from both air traffic controllers and civilians.
I heard that some of the passengers whose flights just landed saw the object, which appeared as glowing lights. It was not a normal civil aviation flight. What it actually was, no one knows.
During the hour in which airspace was closed, 6 flights were grounded and 12 inbound flights had to be diverted to nearby airports at Ningbo, Wuxi, and Shanghai. In total, almost 1,000 passengers were inconvenienced by the closure.
Now check out this video, dude. And what's crazy is if you look at the moon, there's also this little orb up there by the moon between the disk and the moon. And it's zipping around. You see that? It literally just like zipped on the other side of the moon.
We should do a bit of, because light is a great way to transfer information, whether it's just by the like a Morse code pattern.
A UFO in China's skies forced Taoshan Airport to stop operations on July 7th.
I'm sorry, real quick.
Outbound flights were grounded after the unidentified flying object was detected by a flight crew. The incident has captured the attention of Chinese media. For now, the UFO continues to be a mystery. A spokesman from China's Civil Aviation Administration confirmed to ABC News that the matter is under investigation.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was awesome.
That is fucking crazy. Like,
but like I'd like to task AI with seeing what kind of sensor data I could pick up from the rapid changing of lights. If it's because if it's a machine, it's going to machine, right? It's going to be a controlled pattern, you know, unless it's programmed to not be controlled, right? Like to be asymmetrical. But it could just be something not as crazy as we think, but it does look fucking crazy. It also looks like that could be almost like an ionization runoff trail, but the fact that it kind of arches downward like like heavy particles being emitted from something, and it's very strange. It's just the glow looks very, very ion propulsion-esque.
Right. And we always, you know, the thought is, I don't know if it's because of movies or whatever, you know, that they're beaming us up or they're beaming stuff up. But what if what they're doing is beaming stuff down?
Oh yeah, I'm also thinking like how easy it would be because I know that you can get laser to travel along the path of water. Like so, if you have an arched path of water, you can get that laser to bend. It won't be straight. I wonder if that's maybe a cool artifacting that is caused by like let's say you miss, right? Because the water is going to be heavier than the air, so it will fall to the ground. But like let's say you illuminate behind that, you can get a more prominent looking. What would look like a tractor beam or something like that. Meanwhile, it's an illuminated mist. You know what I mean? Like,
I know all about the illuminated mist.
Oh, you're in the club, dude. It's only two of us now. I thought it was just me, but now there's two.
No, we're in, buddy. We are in. Check this one out, dude. This just got the okay for release. From 1949. So 60 years later, they're like, all right, we think they're ready. Folks, you don't see how fucked up this is. It's beyond. It's beyond. This is the U.S. Army report on flying saucers. And I'm not going to read it and go through all this stuff again because we've been through a lot of this stuff already. But it's just amazing to me. That one you can barely read. And we've hit on this so many times with the UFO files stuff, is that like people's lives were literally ruined. Like careers, family, like your wife would leave you and shit for Ted, who didn't see flying saucers. Fucking Ted. And you know, some cases you had to go to a loony bin and see a doctor. I mean, bad shit. All your neighbors made to think you were crazy, and you cared about what your neighbors thought back then. It's not like now. Now it's like the good neighbors are the ones with high fences or something like that. Is that how that saying goes? The best neighbors are the ones with good fences. I can't remember. But yeah, what up, Faded Black? Faded Black said hello. But wanted to say hi back to you, buddy. See you in the chat. What up, Fade? There. Thanks for chilling. We appreciate you. Okay. So let's go back here for a moment. We're gonna hop back over these reports and let's take a look at something a little more current here. Colorado Springs. Okay, so this is, I believe, if we look at that image I had, if I can find it. Where that FBI report showed all those different orbs, like the orbs having the orbs, baby orbs. That supposedly happened in the Colorado Springs area as well. Just getting the photo here. Bueller.
Ferris Bueller.
Oh my God, of course I can't find it. What the heck? What did I do with it? Okay, so what do we do? I'm looking for this. What do we do with Avi Loeb, Flak? What are we going to do? Should we lock him up?
We give him we shun him a little bit. You know, we do the shunning. We do the, hey, what are you doing? We needed a little evidence, but he's fucking claims, good sir.
It was like, I remember, folks, if you've been with Gabriel Speaks for a while, we went through and we read the bulk of that report, of that fucking, oh my God, I don't even know how many pages it was, but it was a lot of his paper on 3i Atlas and all the scientific reasons that it isn't a rock. And even when I remember like even reading it thinking this is complete horseshit. They say at the beginning of the paper that we know it's not, that this is a study. This is an experiment. This is scientific research. We are certain that it's a rock, but still went on all these talk shows and all these podcasts and talked about the end of the world is nigh and we need your funding now. We needed your funding yesterday.
They also already knew we would say yes, so they took it before asking. You know, that was just a courtesy.
Debit card. Yeah. So see, here's the title of the paper, July 22nd, 2025, 7 months ago. Yeah, what was when he was doing that interview on the Joe Rogan podcast. Is the interstellar object 3i Atlas alien technology? Mr. Abraham Loeb. Okay. So this is the, whoops, I got to remove that one first. Okay. I'm gonna have to zoom in on that because we can't even make out. Look at all those that looks like an Epstein file, huh?
Yep,
Good
this is
Lord.
where they got all their good practice in for redactions. Because I don't know if anybody knows this, right? But you couldn't just have a computer program do this. You had to get out a Sharpie and make all those straight lines yourself. So you had to be very good. This is the best of the best. This is our government.
Oh, the best of the best.
These guys had the straightest Sharpie hand in the world, and we got.
Does have a Sharpie holster?
Oh yeah, buddy. You know it. They had actually a bandolero of Sharpies just in case.
Okay, so this says forensic sketch interview of blank. So I'm guessing those were some of the images you were referring to, how they were like reconstructions.
How old is this one? Because the reconstructions seem to be from. Actually, it might have been from the 80s because the car looked a little bit old. That was in the thing. Oh, you know what? I'll grab one. Okay, yeah. So I guess it was relatively new then. Yeah, that was probably it. Because I didn't look at any of this. I do my research, especially within the new document dumps, a little differently. I go section by section by section by section, It's easier that way, especially if you just want to find all of the videos, you want to find all the pictures. The same thing I did with Epstein, right? Like, I made sure to remember we did the FTA thing and we did the PDF thing where we figured out how to watch only videos, how to watch only the photographic evidence. I did the same thing with this. It was way easier with the tranches because it has a little option for only photos, only videos. So I was looking at the photographs without any of this data, which I probably should have had that right next to it. But it's so much easier to go that way because it's still not together. Like, this will just have a good enough reference to where you'll know what it's talking about. It wouldn't have been like you get this and then within the same thing it'll have the photographs underneath it. Not unless you went to agency, like because they have interagency there as well. So you can look at CIA, FBI, Department of Energy, Department of Defense type of stuff. So
interesting. Okay. So this was in 2008. So, I mean, as far as these reports go, or I'm sorry, 2024, as far as these reports go, this is recent, because we were looking at things from 1924. On June 24, redacted, date of birth. Okay, I'm not going to say redacted every time. Date of birth, home address, work address, email address. Obviously, that stuff's not going to be included. Cell phone number. Was interviewed at 26 Federal Plaza, New York, by special agent. Geez, I even redact the special agent's name. And operational, redacted. After being advised of the identities of the interviewing individuals, blank provided the following information to aid in the forensic revelations of the unidentified aerial phenomenon and its activity observed over Cheyenne Mountain, and that's why they believe it's in Colorado Springs, because they say the freaking mountain name. On February at approximately 11:30 a.m., a former U.S. Army intelligence officer, along with 4 other members of his unit, observed a UAP over the Cheyenne Mountains as they exited their office building. Described the day as the perfect blue bird sky, as there were no clouds, little humidity, with a temperature of apparently 50 degrees Fahrenheit. That's not very nice. I guess it can be clear and cold. The object was potato-shaped with distinct edges and appeared to look painted in a creamy, whitish, opalescent color. Oh, shit. The aliens got that candy paint job. It was somewhat translucent with a slight shimmer. The object was made up of what can best be described as articulating fish scales or panels that were non-symmetrical, non-overlapping, and irregularly shaped. The object itself was perfectly still, but each panel on the object shifted the slow waves starting at different points of origin, but at the same time. Okay. After approximately 2 minutes, the object vanished. Specifically stated that the object cloaked in the space of time it took to turn ahead, and there was no shadow. Initial sketch drafts are attached. Forensic artist blank will relay additional sketch drafts through BA2 in order to complete the final sketch product. Man, just in February 24. And
I'm being honest, the whole thing is kind of sketchy, yeah. The whole thing is pretty sketchy. That just was of certain puns that were allotted to me. My inner comedian saw the laying out of the words and the terms. I couldn't ignore it.
I got you. Yes, it is a bit sketchy, sir. Okay, let's go back here. All right. So this is kind of cool because see, we can see 1949, 2022, 2026 northeastern orb sightings. I think these are probably This is going to be one of those things that drives me nuts. It's going to drive me crazy until I can find this image because I know I have this image. Ay. There it is. Okay. Oh, that's why I can't find it. Oh, don't worry, folks. We're going to get there. We're going to find that damn image. How was Chile, buddy?
Oh, dude, it was awesome. All
Delicious.
right, so I'm lightly Spanish, right? That's no secret. There's no secret around these parts. The secret part is I'm fucking
lightly Spanish.
I've got many nationalities within me
I
bones. But the thing is, like, I'm bad at making rice, or I was anyway. But like the past year, I've really tried to get my rice making to be better and not be
nice.
Dude, you can't overcook or undercook rice. It's shit at that point. But now
it's true.
Oh, dude, I make some good rice. I can make sticky sushi rice. I can make any kind of rice now. Yeah. So it was awesome. The rice was the pièce de résistance.
You know what rice I really like is the jasmine rice, the Indian.
Oh hell yeah, that's the one I did. Oh, even though it was for chili, it works great because it kind of like soaks up enough of the. Also, it's chili, so it's not exactly sauce. It's like a thicker sauce, I suppose.
It depends on how you make it. Okay, so I would imagine, and I am speculating here, folks, so stick with me here, but I would imagine that this unresolved UAP report from 2022 in Colorado Springs by the FBI, right? Yep, this is it here. Oh geez, another one is just totally redacted. I would wager that it is this guy here. Remember we were looking at this earlier and you were asking where this was? So this is, let me get it pulled up here, what is believed to be where did it go? Oh my gosh, I lost my place. Here we go. Okay. Cheyenne Mountains near Colorado Springs, Colorado. On the image, it says all locations are national and do not accurately represent the relative or notional. I'm sorry. I was like, am I reading that wrong? All locations are notional and not accurately represent the relative position of the observers or reported phenomena. So, typical disclaimer. It's not like 100% accurate or anything. So the background is illustrative and not necessarily intended to identify the actual site, more to give you kind of an overhead view, 30,000 foot view, if you will. So it says Western United States, federal law enforcement special agents, October of 23, and multiple incidents over several days. And you can see all the different incidents reported here. You had, we'll start with number 1, orbs launching orbs. Agents reported observing multiple instances of an orange mother orb launching smaller red orbs. Incident 2, fiery orb. Agents reported observing a large fiery orb projected against a ridge line at an approaching distance of 1,000 yards. So I wonder if that has to do with that video of those orange orbs that we saw towards the beginning of this episode. If you missed it, just go back to the beginning. It's one of the first videos we played. Number 3, dark kite. Agents reported observing a thin or dark kite-shaped object featuring one red light and one white light at a close estimated range. And then incident 4, translucent kite. So we had a dark kite and then a translucent one. Agents reported observing a translucent kite shaped object at a close estimated range. So this is the FBI out in Colorado Springs for like a few days. And what they experience here. Is that not fucking crazy? Holy shit.
Yeah, that's wild. That is wild. There's a lot of shit down there, dude.
I wonder if they took someone with them, like a psionic asset or something to get all this activity.
There was some stuff I found with more than one. It was like confirmed by radar data. It was confirmed by the naked eye, and it was also confirmed by a co-pilot with, I believe he had LiDAR, or it might have actually been IR, infrared goggles, like worn on his face that he was looking at, and it was found on multiple different platforms. I think it was from Washington to Alaska, and there were caves found that one of the orbs or things that they saw dipped off at a certain point, and when they went to go follow it, they saw a cave, and the terrain was too treacherous for the helicopter to land anywhere to investigate the cave, and then they were low on fuel, so they left, refueled, and then came back with jets. This is like multiple different things going on at once over there. So all sorts of weird shit like this, man. Yeah, well, I'm not sure it's just maybe a couple of weeks ago that I read through all this stuff, so it's a little foggy as to the exact placements. But yeah, it was in the U.S. Yeah. That's the important part.
Wow. Yeah, and then, like it was just a few years ago, there were fucking Chinese spy balloons hovering over all of this shit, right? Like hovering over NORAD.
Yup.
What the fuck, man? How can we say we're this like all powerful military and we have spy balloons just floating over some of our more secure installations?
That goes back to my point earlier with like, how can we say we're the biggest and baddest and then say, oh, there's a whole mess of shit, we have no idea what it is. When we know they clearly at least have an idea, but they're not willing to divulge that piece of the thing. Well, like, wouldn't that speak to our proficiency in I guess like wartime scenarios, or at least our own defensive technology, right? So I don't know, man. They seem to be taking away their own credibility with some of this stuff, with their unwillingness to admit what it is.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know if you caught it or not, but the first thing the reporter said that was interviewing Avi Loeb, because it was the day after Disclosure Day, he said something to the effect of, brilliant marketing or real, because we talked about it. David Grusch and them going in front of a camera and making some statements the day before his movie Disclosure Day that he consulted on came out. So almost like spinning up buzz for the topic the day before Disclosure Day. The movie
it had to be way coordinated, because even Emily Blunt, in all the interviews she's done up until the movie, which everyone's saying they loved her role in this. Like she did good by the UFO community, which is really cool. Spielberg, same thing. Like he used a lot of anecdotes that we all talk about. But I don't think you could be that on the ball and not realize where in time you are, especially naming it Disclosure Day. Like,
oh yeah, 100%.
A lot of coordination, like big time professional coordination.
And then what was the documentary? The Day Before Disclosure or something, or Day of Disclosure?
Yep. I forgot about that too.
What the fuck, dude?
That's kind of crazy, because he stole all his steam from that, right? And it was within a month, I guess, of both airing.
Yeah, and it's just like, it's like part of it is an industry. man. Like an industry. Like these guys go to these conferences and they're treated like rock stars. I don't know if they get paid like rock stars, but they get treated like rock stars.
That is so damn true. But they do get paid like rock stars because, very prolific member of the community, Red Panda Koala. He did a documentary. I suggest everyone go watch it. It was based on Steven Spielberg and his love of the UFO topic.
Yeah,
great. But we were talking in space with him, and he's already deep dived that. He's looked at the finances that go into these interviews and these podcast platforms. Where the one that Lou Elizondo was in more recently, I forget who it was with, but
the Disclosure Tonight, I think it's called.
They made $20,000 in donations and whatnot from that episode.
What?
Yeah. So I mean, there is a lot of money in this. Bob Lazar alone brought in, I think, over $30,000 to $50,000 on Chris Ramsey's podcast. Shout out, Chris.
No way.
But yeah, man, there's a lot of money in this. Especially after Disclosure Day. Now you're gonna have a lot more new people interested in the topic. Remember when the first files came out? There was a weird thing where everyone thought everyone was a bot.
Files?
The first files with the government releasing them for the UFOs. Okay. Everyone was yelling bots because some of us, like I'm big into spaces. You're big into spaces as well. Spaces. Yeah, you pop in all the time. You co-host for me all the time too.
Yeah.
But they started rising the second that this information started coming out. There's a lot more new people interested in the topic, so I don't know. I'm seeing a trend here, which I'm not trying to capitalize on, but I am noticing there's a lot of movement in the background. There's a lot of new anonymous listeners in the spaces, right. Like we're seeing a revolution of the people, I think, of the normies who are at least now more willing to take this into account. Because even my own folks, like when I spoke to them about this, they told me they were shocked. It was on the news, number one, and number two, the fact that it was coming out of the president's mouth, that disclosure is on its way with file releases, kind of woke them up a bit. And I was like, I had my experience, and I freaked out and went to you guys, and they go, well, now we believe you a little bit more. I was like, oh, that's nice. Thanks. I'm glad that it was Trump who fixed that for you. But
why did you listen to your kid?
Yeah, but it points to the fact that some of these things need to come from official channels in order for certain people to even pay attention to it. They could see a UFO right in front of their face still and then go, that's a cool new plane, as opposed to, what the hell am I seeing? That doesn't make any sense.
Right. And it's, it's always going to be that way. But I guess, I don't know, man. Part of what I think I was getting at is that I think that there's folks that get in this that really are in it for the right reasons and are trying to figure out left from right. But then I also think there's this kind of good old boys type group that they view it as like a cottage industry, right? Like, what can we put out there this year to get them interested, to give them just enough so they won't get pissed that they're not getting enough? And it seems like they're dangling this carrot in front of us constantly. And this has been going on since this has been a thing. Since the 50s. This is what they've done. I say they, again, I'm sounding like a crazy person. Military industrial complex, military contracting, private industry, whatever it may be, whoever they may be. It's the same people, I think, that are doing the attacking on people. It's like they not the good old boy club, the military industrial complex and private thing. The good old boy club, I think, is like these guys, they go to these conferences, they're treated like rock stars. Their egos are pumped up. Like, I think a lot about like Chris Bledsoe when he was first approached by these kind of mysterious figures, right? Like Tim Taylor and Hal Puthoff and all these other folks. And he writes it in his book, UFO of God, and he talks about it on podcasts. Oh, they told me, don't go to these UFO events, these UFO conferences or whatever, because then I'll get a biases and this and that and the other. And what's he doing right now? He's literally, like, I'm watching him on X talk people in to paying for his course so you can bring in orbs.
You do that shit for free.
It's the same. It's from Monroe Institute. It's 50 years old.
I think the fact that sometimes it works is the scarier portion of that.
Yes.
The shittier portion of that is somebody's willing to monetize off it, and gatekeep. I wouldn't call it a technology, but the technique, maybe. You know.
Yeah. So I don't think like any kind of paid UFO conferencing, Gabriel will not be attending. They do a free one around here every year that actually got some of the Good Old Boys Club to come out, but only because they were able to do some paid, speeches and whatnot. Yeah. So I guess I think that's going to do it for this one, man, unless you had something else you wanted to get into.
Oh, let's solve the Epstein files.
I think we've
fucking with you, buddy. Oh, that was good.
I think we hit it all. We wanted to talk about Avi Loeb, and again, folks, I'm telling you, follow up on this. Stay tuned into this. Let's find out when the UAP, the White House UAP Scientific Advisory Council is established, because I can't wait. I can't wait to have another group that gets nowhere. Like, what's funny is not only did these guys the day before Disclosure Day come out and say nothing new, they also voiced the frustration that they have nothing new to say because nobody will work with them, and the people they need to cooperate are not cooperating. So that when they get nothing done, they can blame it on us for not putting enough pressure on our leaders to get the right thing done. They're already setting the stage for that. Disclosure's on you. No, it's not. It's not on me. I didn't hide this shit.
It is, though. It is now.
years.
I think it is now, though.
Oh, fuck them. Kiss my ass. Disclosure.
Well, you've kind of been asking for it as of lately. You know what I mean? With this whole interest thing. How dare you?
How dare I? Right? Son of a biscuit. Okay, folks, I'm going to give you a sneak peek of something I'm working on behind the scenes here. If you follow me on X, you've probably seen it. But if not, this is something I'm working on with Flak, and we're going to be bringing to you pretty soon. Check it out.
In case you haven't seen any of the photos, I'll only show two. The main radar tower from the SAFE system, which was adapted and changed to the Phoenix project. There's this, and that's what you see driving east from Montauk. It's a huge building and a tower with the antenna on top, which is 60 feet high and 120 feet across and weighs approximately 125 tons. And close up, if you get on the base, which is open, and you can wander out there if you want to, but do it during the day. This is the tower, 8 feet, approximately 8 stories high, and with the antenna, the total height is about 150 feet, we estimate. What we were dealing with, very briefly again, in the structure of our universe as we know it. It is a five-dimensional universe, five-dimensional nature, other than is on the blackboard. This is somewhat poorly done, but I'm not a great artist. We'll call this 1, 2, 3, three dimensions of physical reality as we know them. And according to theory, Einstein et al., time at the right angle, we'll call a fourth dimension, is at a right angle theoretically. These three physical dimensions flow and exist in time. If there was no time, our physical reality would not exist. So supposedly these are at right angles. It flow according to a rate which you can describe in the torus of time. But there's another important aspect, and this is the very important one. We actually have a fifth dimension, we'll call it T2, which is the fifth. And it is, if you look at it on end from the torus, take a cross-section, this is a neat little thing which is really another vector on the end of the fourth dimension, which is the fifth. And this thing is describing, in essence, a circle. And as it corkscrews ahead, we call it forward time by mere reference.
Cannot wait
I feel smarter just from watching that.
to get into this Montauk stuff. So both Al Bellick or Balick, however you say it, Bielik, yeah, and Preston Campbell, I think his name was, have both passed, but there are still survivors. A group that, if you've researched it, were known as like the Montauk Boys. There are still some survivors. I'm in the process of trying to contact a couple of them because they have done some podcast interviews, and we're crossing our fingers and hoping we can get one of them to come on and speak with us about their experience there. But yeah, that show Stranger Things, if you watched it, the whole premise was based on the crazy rumors that came out of Montauk Point there. As you heard Al describe, through the technology they had and Preston's abilities, they could create things out of thin air. They could jump through time. Just so many wild stories that will be a lot of fun to get into. So that's going to do it for tonight, though. I think we did our job for our UFO update over the weekend. It was kind of a crazy weekend this last weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Did I miss anything? I mean, we had Disclosure Day. We had Avi. We had Chris Mellon and UAP Gerb. I think that's everything we wanted to cover.
Yeah, you missed all the shenanigans on the creator side of things. There's been a lot of chaos going on. Yeah, but
like
it becomes par for the course.
Share.
No, just a lot of name calling, a lot of shit being thrown around. Like anytime we get one thing good, there's a lot of weird shit that goes on in the background. It's almost as if creators don't realize, like, you put your own spin on it. Don't be upset when somebody covers a similar topic. It's just a momentum given to the field. Yeah. Like, look at it as more people are waking up to it. You're doing a good thing. You know, it sucks if your exact information is stolen. Yeah. But like, throw on the caveat that at the end with an opinion that differs. You know, an opinion.
Do
that's
what I
own.
do. Look at all my success.
It's a wonderful success. Hell, you got me here every time, bud. Subscribers. You know, I dig buddy. This shit, dude. I am so stoked because we're at least looking at it objectively. You know what I mean? We're not taking everything like on its face. So I enjoy all of this.
Me too, buddy. I think you don't want to, like, I have the poster that I know a lot of us have. I want to believe, right? But I'm not going to join a cult. So that's where I find myself, right? We have to stay objective, no matter how much we like the person or the personality or whatever. Like, stay true to yourself 100% in this topic, or you'll go nuts. All right. Well, thank y'all for hanging out. Don't forget, like, subscribe, and share. Do all those things. We absolutely love it. It helps us out a ton. Thank you for those that were chatting it up tonight. We appreciate you all.
Yeah, heck yeah. Fade to base, for the solace. We had another dude in there too, Roddy Reyes.
Yeah.
Hollerino, buddy.
Yep.
Sarah Beth, what's up, girl? All our UFO community members that we love and talk to on an everyday basis.
Hell yes.
We miss you. We will see you soon.
That's right. Don't forget, tell the ones you love them how much, and hold them close if you can. And we'll see you next time on the Gabriel Speaks podcast, y'all.
Hasta la pasta, buddy. Peace.
Peace.